Hello, this is Irina, board certified behavior analyst, and you are watching Progressive Behavior. In today's episode, I wanted to discuss a very important human behavior. And I'm sure you've guessed it by the title of the video. I'm referring to behavior of fairly sharing labor and resources. Let's first kind of go over what is the situation currently that is happening on our planet. Just like I discussed in my previous episode about inequality, right now we are mostly divided into two groups. One group is experiencing excess of resources, and another one is experiencing deficit of resources. Of course, I'm talking about the 1% versus the 99%, or the working class versus the management class, or the elites, whatever label you want to use. So the problem is right now that those two groups of people want to engage in two different behaviors. The bigger groups want to engage in fair sharing of labor and resources, but the smaller group has been so reinforced for not sharing over so many generations, they're basically fighting, and they want to engage in behavior of not sharing fairly. This is what it's all about. It is the most descriptive behavior of what a capitalistic system is. A capitalistic system is a system in which one acquires excess of resources through unfairly sharing resources and labors with other people who are participating in creating the income. And this is what it's all about. It's to share fairly or not to share fairly. That is the question. If we, as a species, and the more people join this opinion and the more people start engaging in fair sharing of labor and resources, that is when we will actually evolve. Now, why am I using the word evolve? I'm going to discuss an interesting example right now. And I hope that you stay with me because it's a little far out. But I'm going to talk about behavior of unicellular organisms, right? We all know bacteria and, other organisms that are not living in a multicellular organisms like humans or animals, right? Those are organisms that are made out of multiple cells, and cells specialize. Basically, each cell will have their own job. A heart cell or a heart muscle cell will have one job versus, let's say, blood cells will have a different job. Brain cells have a different job. So right now, let's just talk about behavior of unicellular, one-cellular organisms, okay? So imagine we're going all the way back, and if you believe in evolution, this is kind of a prerequisite to understand what I'm talking about. Let's go back to before we had any multicellular organisms in existence. So we're only talking about a very, 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 very long time ago. I cannot even tell you the date. That's not what I got a degree in. But before the multicellular organism began their existence, we were all they were only unicellular organisms, right? At least that's what the science tells us. So what behavior science proposes, explanation that they propose, is that the reason why some cells became multicellular organisms, they've joined together, and some just stay unicellular, and like viruses and other things, they stay in their microscopic size for basically over, millions of years, while other cells started working together and eventually evolved into an array of multicellular organisms of all types and sizes. So what's very important, what I'm trying to explain here, is that the reason why the unicellular organisms even evolved into multicellular organisms, and why humans and other animals and trees and anything that is consisting more than of one cell, the reason why is because they engage in behavior of sharing. Fairly sharing resources and labor that it takes to survive on the planet and to adapt to all the changes. And I kind of want to bring that example to human beings as well. We are struggling as species. We are damaging our own planet, which is providing us with nutrition and all of the oxygen, water, everything that we need to continue our existence. If we are to evolve, we need to engage in the same behavior as millions of years ago the microorganisms did when they created multicellular organisms. Only by then we can evolve and move on to the next level of our existence. Otherwise, we will forever be struggling between a group of people who are addicted to acquisition of wealth and reject the behavior of sharing resources equally, and the other group will just constantly be in a struggle. There will be deaths that are absolutely unnecessary, and we will not be able to evolve. We will eventually perish. Now, let me add just one more thing. I want to talk about the behavior of not sharing fairly and how harmful it can be. And I want to give you an example again from on a microscopic level, talking about cells and their behavior. They're the building blocks of life. So when cells, imagine right now your human body, all of your cells, the reason why you are healthy, hopefully you're healthy, if the reason why you're healthy is because your body is distributing all of the things that your body needs equally to every cell in your body. The moment that one of the cells starts behaving in a way that stops other cells from getting the nutrients that they're supposed to get, basically that's cancer. That's when cells start growing, we have tumors, and it's basically becoming larger than it should be. It's behaving differently. Now, the reasons why it behaves, of course, that goes down to the DNA level, why that changes. But it translates into cellular behavior. And we know what happens to the body, right, when a cell decides to behave as a cancer cell. And I know I'm saying the word decides, it doesn't actually decide. There is a mechanical process that begins cancer, pollution, radiation, and other things. But it translates into a behavior of a cell. It becomes engorged. It starts suffocating cells around it. It starts taking on more nutrients and killing off cells around it. That is basically exactly what the small group of the elites are doing to us as a human species. They are the cancer. And if we allow them to continue this behavior, we will perish just like a human body perishes it. Because several cells, a group of cells, decided to engage in selfish behavior. I hope that you understand this far out example. And if you have a different opinion, I would love to hear it. I will leave my email and let's get in contact. I would like to hear what people have to say back. On this note, I would like to end today's episode, and we will talk more tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching. Behave progressively.